1.
Nothing wrong with that one. Excellent from the Welshman. I think in general, if you're going to take any positives, then you can tell himself, well, O'Sullivan, the century aside, has largely struggled.
Law's machine has livened up as well. Clapping every shot.
Five. Twelve. Thirteen.
Bit unfortunate there. He couldn't really control where that red was going to end up. Bit thin on the black to be in any control of the shot.
$21.
I think the problem is the cushions are bouncing at a different speed. It's coming off the cushions fast from some and not so quick from others, and you've got to try and work out what cushion is doing what. This is unusual, but it happens occasionally.
Matthew Stevens, 21.
Won't end up making him feel better the way that break concluded.
No, I mean, his ice break is still only 35. He could have been 3-1 up, despite that. The match has sort of become hard work, hasn't it? The conditions are not helping, that's for sure.
I still never understand it, and I absolutely believe that the table's playing badly. I mean, I'm not going to... You can see by the way the match is going, but as I said, only yesterday we had great snooker. I sort of wonder how things can descend so much in the space of 24 hours, you know. It's an odd one, isn't it? Maybe it's to do with presumably been a bit of rain around today. Maybe there's some dampness that's crept in onto the table. Don't know.
We've got 15 players through to the last 16 of this Northern Ireland Open. 5 members of the top 16 are through. Obviously, if O'Sullivan made it, that'd be 6. A lot of players will be looking at the draw, maybe quietly fancying their chances ahead of Sunday's final. We'll see over the next few days. Just having a look to see if he's left this cut to the middle.
Well, it cuts in all right. It's a question now of, is he going to get through the gap between the green and brown, or is he going to crash into the green here? Because when you miss the pot, you don't really know the natural angle. It comes off differently.
1.
Well, he's got to just try and put to one side what happened. He can't affect what happened in the last frame. He can obviously affect this frame. Now then, is he on this red? Does this red go to the right corner? I think so. Yep.
Seven. Twelve.
By the way, we will start our coverage tonight of the last 16 on this table with Judd Trump against Martin Gould. Of course, Gould beat Trump in the semi-finals of the European Masters in early season.
Well, he's got himself into a good position here, and he can't afford for it to be squandered like the previous frame. Finds himself not exactly in position A on this red.
Matthew Stevens,
Dear.
18.
Oh dear. Well, he got himself to a position of strength, but I'm not so sure he's in that now that he's missed.
One. Six. Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
Now, winning the frame is not guaranteed here, especially in the context of the way this match has gone. But the chance for Ronnie to step up a gear, which is kind of what
20.
I think the match needs and what he needs.
21. $28. 29.
Yeah, it seems Matthew Stevens, when he was in, he didn't get the intended cannon and left himself that red to the left middle, which he then missed. So, that was another chance. He's had so
32.
many this afternoon.
33.
Well, he'd push that red even further into play. It was a red that's on the right. It's perfectly okay as long as you get right behind it, but if you're coming at it from an angle, it's fairly narrow
36.
to that middle pocket, so you will need to be in good position for it. He might take it on here. Having a look. Back to the other one.
37.
Just got to guard against any little unforced errors now because the frame is there for the taking. Bearing in mind he should have been 3-1 down. Stevens had that black to go to it with 3 to play.
42.
Just get the feeling had that red gone in the middle, which it didn't, of course, and you felt it was a big shot from Matthew. He probably would have won the frame. He was a few in front. He was on an easy black, and most of these would have been his, and he didn't need them all.
49.
Green, brown and blue then for 3-2.
52. 56. 61.
On the balance of play, I'm not quite sure how O'Sullivan's in front here. Should never have won the last 2 frames, but he has.
67.
Well, we've seen him blow so many opponents away with great performances, but even if he's not at the very top of his game, you've still got to beat him. You've got to take the chances. Matthew Stevens hasn't done that.
74.
He's now trailing in the match. 74 clearance from Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Matthew Stevens, yeah, you can see his reaction there. He had his chance, but it's O'Sullivan who leads 3-2.
Starts pinging, coming off squares. It's doing exactly what mine done. His heels are too off.
O'Sullivan saying he thinks the heating, the table heater is up too high. Too hot, he says.
I think poor old Ben Williams, he can't really get involved in that. He's there to referee, isn't he? Poor fellow. He doesn't need to be engaging in that sort of talk. I know Ronnie's only speaking to him, but Ben can't really offer an opinion either way, can he?
Well, what he said was he could get the table fitters to look at it after the match, but they're going to continue. It's 3-2 to Ronnie O'Sullivan, so he needs one more, and he'll be out tonight against Thepchaiya Un-Nooh. Remember, we start our coverage at 7:15, the first match featuring the world #1, Judd Trump, against Martin Gould. So do join us for all the build-up from 7:15. That could be a cracker, that one. I know Trump struggled this afternoon, but it's a skill, I think, to get through a match when you're not at your best, and it's a skill he certainly developed. It's not all about the big breaks. If you can win a match like that, as he did, in that English Open, you suddenly find yourself there on Sunday in the final with a chance to win it.
Yes, Gould beat him, didn't he, earlier in the season in the European Masters, I think it was. Semi-finals. Went on to lose by the odd frame in the final to Mark Selby.
One.
Made a great sound. Finished a bit awkwardly though, once again.
And he's reached for the rest out of sheer habit, because it's not there at the moment.
And he tried to come further to the left there.
6.
Not too sure if he's on one. He's put the rest away, so he mustn't fancy that he can get to either of those two reds.
More ticker tape coming down.
I have to say, I
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
feel a bit
6.
sorry for Ben Williams today. He's having a torrid time out there. He's got ticker tape, the rest everywhere. Players complaining about the table. It's not his fault. Maybe being blamed for something he never did earlier as well.
I think, yeah, you know, investigations have been ongoing into all that, and I think Ben was, maybe the finger was wrongly pointed at him.
Yeah.
A lot of people studying the footage, Neil.
One.
Again, Matthew will be fuming with that. Seems a referee's job is getting more complicated all the time these days, isn't it?
And there's not even an audience. It's not even that to think
No.
about. Mobile phones and all that stuff. Of course, at the Masters this year, he caught a wasp, didn't he, in his hand and was stung. And quite inevitably, I suppose.
Rambo.
But what a trooper.
Of course, the other thing that happened to him,
Stevens.
Dave,
One.
was that a spider appeared, didn't it? In the, might have been in the one of the recent events, and apparently he's terrified of them.
Monica
And,
had to come and pick
save
it up,
the
didn't
day.
she? The marker, yeah.
Yeah. Who'd be a snooker referee?
Well, at least it was a regular spider, not an extended one.
One.
Well, it's another scoring opportunity. His highest break is still only 35 in this match.
Four. Five.
Another good kiss, but he's all right on the yellow. Of course, at 3-2 down, Matthew is very much in this match, but he might not feel very good about things right now. But clearly, he's in there with a chance. Just all the history of what had happened in the match, he's got to put away.
7.
Sometimes you feel it's not going to be your day. You just have to make it your day.
Got to think whatever happens, the scheduling has favoured Thepchaiya Un-Nooh. He played this morning against Alan Taylor and didn't last long. He won 4-0, so he's had a lot of time just to rest up. Of course, whoever wins this match, they'll be second on, but you know, Trump Gould, that could be a quick one, so it might not be that much of a break.
Eight. Thirteen. $14.
The extension on the cue there. I think, again, a wave of the hands. I think, again, it was surprised by the bounce of that second cushion. Big shot, this. Played it well.
$20.
Probably wonders if he can just run through and get right down onto the black, but I don't know if he's got a straight enough angle on the red he's closest to. So he's back on the other one again.
$21.
Just on the table will be recovered overnight, we're being told, for the quarterfinals.
Because I don't know what the other tables are playing like. All I know is that Zhao Jintong won 4-0 against Lucas Kleckers with an absolute barrage of huge breaks earlier. So whatever table he was playing on, I'll be surprised if he had any complaints about.
Well, just hearing that, in fact, we were told literally a minute ago that it's being recovered tonight. It's actually not. It's being recovered tomorrow night for the semi-finals.
That's a bit unfortunate, but can't. Sometimes there's ways of getting these tables back when they're not so good, because it can all be to do with the atmospherics rather than the bed or cushions or whatever. No angle at all here. Not on the blue. So this is a little thin one. Position not assured. Just that when he hit the other red again, he had absolutely no control of the cue ball.
Matthew Stevens, 34.
So he still hasn't made a break over 35. 34, the latest effort. Yeah, the ice breaks. You can see that, of course, O'Sullivan made the century in frame 2. Matthews 35 came in frame 3. Total points, he's actually in front. Stevens by 4. Not much in the safety. Slightly ahead on the pot success. So it's very tight, this match still. It's not been the sort of flowing snooker that O'Sullivan necessarily enjoys, but he's kept at it, hasn't he? Made that good 74 clearance in the last frame. Dug in, as he did, as Neil said earlier, at the Crucible, where, you know, such a long event, it's not all going to be big breaks. You have to be mentally resilient, and he certainly was.
Was a concern. If you don't get the wobble in the bottom left pocket, the red could go anywhere, and it's gone. As you can see all the way up the table. If it's finished a bit straight, might be the thing that saves O'Sullivan. He's having a look. If Stevens has an angle of any description here. There's your answer. No angle at all.
Yeah, you know, we get spoilt by the quality of play that the players produce, but sometimes it's just hard work, because snooker is ultimately a very hard game, and this match has sort of reflected that. Worth saying as well, Neil, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan, in terms of the one-year list, he's trying to get into the World Grand Prix. It's the top 32 on the one-year list. He's not quite there yet, so all the points he can amass here, and obviously in the next event, the UK, are very important.
Yeah, of course, with the World Grand Prix being earlier, being before Christmas this year, and of course less tournaments, no Chinese events, so it's a bit of a sprint to get into that.
1.
Well, I'm sure he'd love to get this put away now,
4.
because, as I say, he won't have that long before he's back on to play Thepchaiya Un-Nooh, albeit that shouldn't be a safety-dominated affair,
5.
I wouldn't think.
I think it's pretty safe to say you're right there, Dave. It happens, a terrific game. You know? Sullivan has not won here yet, but he's in a position now to take charge.
Well, nice cannon to free those
13.
3 reds.
Going to want to pot the blue and get the blue out of the way of the red above it. Until that blue is potted, he couldn't win the frame.
I think
one thing that might spur O'Sullivan on here, it's been a real slog this match. It's just the winning line is inside.
19.
And this is in his own hands as to whether he gets across it in this visit. That was a very good shot, as ever. His cannon play has always been
25.
immaculate. Played it with, even if the cannon didn't work out perfectly, he was always going to be on the red, down the right cushion.
26.
Overrun slightly there.
34. 41.
Well, there's a lot of chances, Matthew. Frames that he lost
42.
Yeah.
2 on up, and the next frame, Dave, were ones he should have won, especially that black.
Yeah, sorry, Neil. Yeah, I think, you know, you can accept being comprehensively outplayed by the best player ever. He hasn't been, has he? He's had a lot of chances, as you say, in every frame.
47.
That black for 3-1 is the big moment of the
49.
afternoon, really. As for O'Sullivan, we'll see what he thinks about the performance. The main thing is he's still going, as long as he can just finish off here. The green is for the match.
52.
So Thepchaiya Un-Nooh, Thailand's Speed King, former shootout winner, awaits. There's the match time. It's been a bit of a slog, really, by their standards. We heard them both talking about the table.
61.
But Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump are still on a collision course to meet in the final of the Northern Ireland Open for a third year running.
67.
Both had tough matches this afternoon. Both have made it through.
74 free in that match.
Successive 74s to finish off. Of course, he made 103 in the second. Matthew Stevens will certainly look back on that fourth frame when he missed the black to lead 3-1. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, the reigning world champion, who books his place in the last 16. He's the winner by 4 frames to 2.
I think these tables playing so bad. The heats are too hot.
Good luck,
Anyway, who gives the monkeys? Good luck. See you later.